The year is 63 BCE, and the Roman Republic is at a breaking point. Two men, Lucius Sergius Catilina and Marcus Tullius Cicero, stand at the center of a conflict that will shape the future of Rome. Lucius Sergius Catilina was once a rising star of Roman politics. Born into an ancient and noble family, Catilina had everything except financial stability. By 63 BCE, he found himself on the verge of ruin. Multiple failed bids for consulship left him with crushing debt, and rumors swirled around his involvement in violent crimes, including the murder of his own family members. Desperation turned into rebellion, and Catilina began to rally support from Rome's disillusioned masses. His plan was simple yet audacious: to overthrow the Roman Senate. Catilina promised to cancel debts, a populist move that resonated with the impoverished citizens of Rome and even some members of the aristocracy who had fallen on hard times. His conspirators included fellow members of the ruling class, men who had lost their fortunes in the cutthroat political landscape of Rome. Together they plotted to assassinate key senators and set fire to Rome, ensuring chaos in the capital. But Catilina's ambitions met a formidable adversary in Marcus Tullius Cicero, one of the most brilliant orators and statesmen of his time. Cicero was the first in his family to enter politics, hailing not from Rome but from the small town of Arpinum. Despite his humble origins, Cicero rose rapidly through the political ranks thanks to his legal expertise, sharp intellect, and unmatched rhetorical skills. By 63 BCE, Cicero had reached the pinnacle of Roman politics, holding the office of consul. His year in office would prove to be the most significant of his career, but it would also mark the beginning of his downfall. Cicero began receiving intelligence reports about a conspiracy. His sources were varied. One of the most valuable was Fulvia, the mistress of one of Catilina's conspirators. Through her, Cicero learned of an assassination attempt planned for November 7th, just one day before a crucial Senate meeting. Thanks to this timely information, Cicero evaded the plot and called the Senate to convene the next morning. On November 8th, Cicero delivered one of the most famous speeches in Roman history, the first of his. In it, he publicly accused Catilina of treason, exposing his plot to the entire Senate. "How long, O Catilina, will you abuse our patience?" Cicero thundered, confronting Catilina directly. Catilina, seated in the Senate chamber, denied everything, but the weight of Cicero's accusations was overwhelming. Under mounting pressure, Catilina fled the city that night, heading north to join his forces, which had been gathering outside of Rome. Cicero, now emboldened by the Senate's decree granting him emergency powers, moved swiftly. He arrested several key conspirators who remained in Rome and uncovered a stash of weapons, further cementing his case against the rebellion. On December 5th, Cicero convened the Senate once more to decide the fate of the arrested conspirators. A heated debate ensued. Julius Caesar, a rising political figure, argued for imprisonment, suggesting that the conspirators be held until a proper trial could be arranged. Caesar's proposal was a bold departure from the usual Roman practice, where severe crimes often led directly to execution. However, Cicero, empowered by the Senate's emergency decree, pushed for immediate action. With the support of the Senate, Cicero ordered the summary execution of the conspirators. They were strangled in the ancient prison of Rome. As he addressed the Roman crowd afterward, Cicero announced their deaths with a single chilling word: "They have lived," meaning they were no longer alive. Cicero's swift and decisive action brought a temporary end to the conspiracy, but it also planted the seeds for his own political downfall. His actions, particularly the execution of Roman citizens without a trial, would come back to haunt him. Meanwhile, Catilina continued his rebellion in the north of Italy, gathering an army of disgruntled citizens and outlaws. But without support from inside Rome, his movement lost momentum. In early 62 BCE, Catilina's forces clashed with the Roman legions in a final, desperate battle near the town of Pistoria. Outnumbered and outmatched, Catilina fought valiantly and died on the battlefield, sword in hand. With Catilina's death, the immediate threat to Rome was over. Cicero, hailed as the father of the fatherland, was at the height of his power. His supporters celebrated him as the man who had saved the Republic from ruin. But Cicero's triumph was short-lived. His enemies, particularly those aligned with Julius Caesar and his political faction, would use his actions against him. In 58 BCE, Cicero was exiled from Rome after a law was passed targeting those who had executed Roman citizens without trial. Though he later returned, his political career never fully recovered. The conflict between Cicero and Catilina, while resolved in 63 BCE, would leave a lasting impact on Roman politics. It highlighted the fragility of the Republic and foreshadowed the eventual transition from a republic governed by elected officials to an empire ruled by a single autocratic leader. Catilina, though a failed revolutionary, became a symbol of the discontent that simmered beneath the surface of Roman society. Discontent that would eventually lead to the fall of the Republic. Cicero, though victorious in the short term, would spend the rest of his life defending the actions he took during the conspiracy, actions that many believed violated the very principles of Roman law. As the Republic continued its decline, the memory of the Catilinarian conspiracy became a powerful reminder of the tensions that tore Rome apart. It was a battle not just between two men, but between two visions for Rome's future. One rooted in the past and tradition, the other in radical change.